absolute gratitude.
फाटी मरे फाटी घणी फाटी फाटी सगळं येतो
We're all gathered here to protest the unfortunate death of Dr. Archana Sharma from Rajasthan by suicide because of mob violence instigated by politicians, extortion and filing of illegal FIR 302 for murder against her for a case which she tried to save, but which we all know in India, postpartum hemorrhage is one of the leading cause of maternal mortality. Without following the due guidelines of the Supreme Court and of the NMC, the laid down guidelines, this illegal FIR was filed, and this poor young bright doctor of ours is lost to us today because she could not bear the stress. This is what we want to convey, that we doctors try to do our best. We work our heart out, forgetting our family, forgetting our lives, forgetting everything else in this world for the sake of the betterment of our patients. But as life is not in our hands, sometimes we are not successful in treating this type of serious cases. And that's why there is a law laid down. If there is a medical negligence, yes, the doctors have to be booked for it. But there has to be a proper procedure to be followed. And that's why today we are standing here in solidarity with all the doctors around India, because this is a big malaise that is affecting our society, and our Indian society is becoming a laughing stock in the face of the world. I am getting emails and phone calls from our colleagues and from our people abroad saying what is going on in India. Why can't this be curbed? Well, we have to stand up now. We are going to our Honorable Chief Minister, who is also from the medical profession, to explain to him and to seek the implementation of the Goa Medicare Bill 2013, which is very much there and which requires more and stronger implementation. We are also going to go to the DIG because we have got to sensitize our police, and we are going to interact with our police officers regularly so that this type of illegal FIRs and unnecessary problems are not created. Today, IMA Goa is supported by the Hospital Association, is supported by the Goa Dental Association, by the Homeopathic Doctors Association, Ayurvedic Doctors Association, the Goa Association of Pharmaceutical Representatives Association, and all like-minded bodies who are here to give their support to us.
I am president of APNH Goa. I bring greetings to you and support for this cause. Today we are standing here to show our solidarity towards the incident which has happened in Rajasthan. Today is the day I am taking over as a president, and supposed to be a very proud day for me. But this day brings to me a lot of sadness, lot of sorrowfulness, as one of our very own colleague was made to lose her life by a tragic way of suicide. The reasons for this loss of life are well known to us. We all know the sequence of events which have led to such a tragic death. I would like to summarize few of the reasons what has led to the death of a doctor at such a young age. I feel the most important reason for loss of life of this particular doctor is stress. We as doctors can never ever tolerate anything going wrong to our patient. We try our heart out, we work with a lot of dedication, and even for a surgeon, if there is even a small stitch infection, gives me a sleepless night. So I can imagine what must be going through this young doctor's mind when she loses her patient. The second reason why this incident has happened, or rather this doctor has lost her life, is because ignorant, violent, selfish policemen which have labeled her as murderer. I can never ever imagine any doctor can commit any offense like murder even in our wildest dream. The third reason I feel is the political leaders, for their financial and political reasons, have instigated a mob who have gathered outside a doctor's hospital and tried to humiliate her. Being doctors, we can never ever tolerate humiliation, and that is the last thing what we can tolerate. The fourth reason for her suicide, I think, it's lack of knowledge. If this particular doctor was aware of the laws which are existing and she was quite strong mentally, then I think she would have approached the concerned person. So what we need to do is generate awareness among doctors about what are the laws prevailing in our country as regards to doctors' protection. And last, I think the reason is lack of help from either the friends, organizations, or other support system. Fortunately, in Goa, we have a very strong IMA, we have a very strong association of private nursing homes and all other associations. I am quite happy today that at a very short notice, all these organizations have gathered today and expressed our solidarity and our support to this noble cause of showing protest against this particular incident. Now, I think the first thing what we learn from incidents, that these things can happen to any one of us. We cannot say that I am immune to this particular condition. Being a doctor, complications are an integral part of our profession, and I am sure that we need to manage these complications. Every person should be aware that these things can happen. The second important lesson we have learned from this is we need to stand united, and that's where the organizations come in action, come in play. I request all the members to be associated with such prominent organizations like IMA, APNH on a larger scale, because when you are in trouble, the organization will come to help you. The third reason, I think, third lesson what we learned from today is what is important is acquiring knowledge. Now, I got one of the WhatsApp forwards and they say there is only two reasons for this incident. The first reason being lack of knowledge of law is by a police and lack of knowledge of law by a doctor. Now, Supreme Court has very clearly laid out the guidelines. In fact, Honorable Mr. Markande Katjuji has mentioned in his historic judgment that no case can be filed against a doctor unless the doctor has been convicted guilty by a single doctor or a body which is constituted in order to prove his negligence. And even there has been mentioned that such a police officer who files such case has to face legal action. I am sure when doctors commit mistake, it has been labeled as a medical negligence. But have we any terminology for any of such mistakes committed by any other profession or maybe police who are in such particular case have harassed and caused problem to the concerned doctor? The next lesson what we learn from today is cry for help or call for help. The first law of recession also says when you are in need, first is call for help. We all are there. I'm sure all of our doctors are there to help each other. So I think we need to learn that always when you are in any trouble, please call for help. And finally, I would like to say, life is very precious. Please do not lose your life. Always call for help. So this brings to me for end of my speech, and I would like to thank all of you, all the members and all the press here present and listening to our grievances. And I think we have a tendency to boil when our emotions are boiling. But I would say that let's not rest till a permanent solution is found to this cause, because many of our members messaged on WhatsApp, "Arey, this has happened many times, this instances, and what you all have done." So I said, we always are trying, we are never sitting idle, and this gathering sends a strong message to the public. Thank you very much.
Fellow press members who are covering this, it is our duty, the Doctors Association duty, and it is the duty of the press also to highlight all these things so that our public can understand that they cannot take law in their own hands. There is a law in place. We understand that when a patient dies, there is definitely grieving in the family. Sometimes it is difficult to come to terms when a young individual passes away, when somebody near and dear passes away. But there are laws, rules and regulations that are framed that have to be kept in mind, and mobocracy, the violence is to be abhorred, and that is something that I request our press members to kindly highlight to the public so that this message can be spread far and wide, and we have more order in the society, and we do not resort to such things and resulting in violence, loss of life and other unpleasant things.
Very sad day for us. दोतोरांक अशें रस्त्यार येवचें पडप just to demonstrate that something is going wrong with their fraternity is really sad day for us. आमी सगळे आतां OPDन बसपाचे, लोकांक हेल्प करपाचें तें सोडून आमी रस्त्यार येवचें पडटा. And this is basically because लोकांकूय लॉ खबर ना, पॉलिटिशियनाकूय लॉ खबर ना, पुलिसांकूय लॉ खबर ना. So I think we are going to have this type of, आमी हाजे पयलीं 2017 पुलिसां खातीर एक सेमिनार घेतिल्लें where we had told all the PIs what to do in such cases. आमचे कडेन सद्या गोंयचो मेडिकेअर एक्ट ऑफ 2013 विच इज IMA हेज तेन्ना स्ट्रेस करून आमी जेन्ना मिस्टर पर्रीकराची गव्हर्मेंट आशिल्ली तेन्ना आमी पास करून घेतिल्लो, आनी ताजेर एक्चुली सेक्शन 7 गव्हर्मेंट हेज टू अपॉइंट अ कमिटी. लोकांक कितें त्रास आसा पयलीं त्या कमिटी कडेन वचा. दॅट कमिटी वील टेल द पुलीस टू फायल अ केस ऑर नॉट टू केस, ते नेग्लिजन्स आसा काय ना ते कमिटी वील डिसायड. यू कॅनॉट गो डायरेक्टली टू द पुलीस स्टेशन एंड कंप्लेन. ही म्हाका दिसता आमी आज CMाक सांगताले. प्लस आनी एक तातूंत आमी चेंज करूंक जाय की सेक्शन 6(3) आहा, वेर अशें आसा की सपोज तुवें चार्जशीट फायल केली की तुवें सपोज कोणाक मारहाण केल्या, कितें केल्या, ताची डॅमेज जी आहा ते पयशे तुवें पयलीं भरचे पडटले. कित्याक आमचें कशें आतां तुवें चार्जशीट फायल करतकच 25 वर्सांनी ताचो रिजल्ट लागतलो. तो म्हणसर नोबडी इज बॉदर्ड. So once he has to pay that in advance and keep it as a deposit with the government, then the people will feel that but there is a pinch in this. So म्हाका दिसता की all this law has to be properly तांकां teeth दिवपाची गरज आसा. आनी आय एम क्वायट शुअर आमचे पोलीस आर तशें लिटरेट आहा गोंया, आमी मच बेटर आर देर. बट IMA हेज टू कम अशें आमकां प्रत्येक फावट डेंटल कॉलेज सगळें आमचे हॉस्पिटल टू करपा सगळें इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. सो इट इज इम्पॉर्टंट.
302 cannot be made
302 म्हणजे मर्डर न्ही.
302 cannot be made applicable in a hospital.
हॉस्पिटल सेटिंगान घालूंक शकना न्ही. सो 302 लावप म्हणजे हाच्या सारक्यान मुर्खपणा ना. म्हणजे पोलीस तो आयदर ही इज रियली प्रेशरायज्ड बाय एवरीवन or by political this is sitting. So I feel that police also has to act with the sense of responsibility.
दादा तुम्ही ते कमिटी सांगला ते प्लेस करता आउटसाइड द हॉस्पिटल और कमिटी.
No, the committee governmental form करपाची. See IMA कडे redressal committee आहा. So they can come to IMA also, but IMA कितें जाता इट्स लायक अ प्रायवेट बॉडी जाता. पण गव्हर्मेंटान जर कमिटी केली, फाटल्या फावट आमची अशी केस जाल्ली तेन्ना हॉस्पिटलान, वी सॉल्व दॅट केस आनी ताजो चेअरमॅन आशिल्ले आमचे रिटायर्ड जज कामत, आनी तातूंत आमी प्रेसाचेर घाल्ले, म्हणजे पब्लीक प्रोसिक्युटर. आमची कमिटी आसा, गव्हर्मेंटाची कमिटी अजून करूंक ना. दॅट्स वाय वी आर ट्रायंग टू प्रेशरायज द गव्हर्मेंट टू मेक दॅट कमिटी फास्ट वीच कंटेन्स ऑल द सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसायटी. आनी त्या सोसायटी कडेन लोकांनी वचपाचें. फर्स्ट गो टू द कमिटी, गो टू द कमिटी, आनी त्या कमिटीन सांगलें की येस देर इज अ रिजन, की देर इज अ सम प्रॉब्लम, देन ओनली द पुलीस कॅन फायल अ केस.
The Panjim Obstetrical and Gynaecological Society and Dr. Shailesh Kamat would like to say a few words.
Good morning everybody. I'm Dr. Shailesh Kamat, President of Panaji Obstetrical and Gynaecological Society. My fellow colleague who has died was an obstetrician belonging to Rajasthan Obstetrical Gynaecological Society. Now when we practice, there are some outcomes which are not in our hand. And Constitution of India also accepts this as a profession different from any other profession. Biology, medicine cannot be mathematics. Here 2 plus 2 is not always equal to 4. And that's the reason Constitution gives us some privileges. Like a person dies in our hand, there are ways out. You think there are negligence on our part, there are ways out. As Dr. Shekhar told you just now, we can go to committee under Medicare Protection Against Violence Act. You can go to Goa Medical Council. You can file a case with police also. Police has to give it to a board specially appointed for this purpose. National Medical Council is there, which has laid down guidelines how this board has to be formed. And that board will decide if doctor has committed any negligence. If doctor has really committed any gross negligence, this committee will tell the police, please proceed with the case. And then doctor can be punished. We have no objection to all this. But law being taken in your own hands, humiliating the doctor, and especially in this case now, when a thing like postpartum hemorrhage, which we know is a common complication, doctor has tried, has struggled for 4, 5, 6 hours, transfused blood, in spite of all the efforts, patient has died. Family was there along with, family has understood. But then, when the cremation is taking place, somebody, politician, just lifts the body, gets it, and then mob gathers, police file a wrong case, humiliation to doctor, and one of our colleague commits suicide. Not acceptable. Not done. Today, we are here to pass a message to public. Who suffers finally? Tomorrow, for fear of PPH, if I don't take a case, PPH is postpartum hemorrhage. If I don't take a case, postpartum hemorrhage, I don't handle. I send patient to refer to patient to GMC. All at-risk patients I refer to higher centers. Who will suffer? You are tying our hands. You are tying our hands and putting us in a swimming pool and tell us swim. No, not possible. Please give us free hand and we'll give our best results possible. But for that reason, don't tie us up. Don't put that sword of Damocles of all the acts and laws on our head. कायदे सुचलतात. पुढे नाकाशिल्ले मॉब येतले, म्हाका धरतले, धमक्यो, एक्स्टॉर्शन, तसले करपाचे ना. कायद्यान कितें आसा, कायद्यान सगळ्याक पाठू दिल्ले आसात. फॉलो करा कायदे. वी हॅव नो प्रॉब्लेम फॉर दॅट. पूण हें करपाचें बंद जावपाक जाय. ना जाल्यार हाजो त्रास जातलो पेशंटाकूच, जनरल पब्लिकाकूच. पोस्टपार्टम हेमरेज बी पेशंट हांवें ट्रीट करनासतना जर हांवें फुडें धाडपाक गेलो जाल्यार ती वाटेरूच इतली ब्लिडींग जातले. पूण हांव सुद्दां जातूंतल्यान. दीस इज नॉट वे. कोण सफर जातलो? कित्याक हें अंडरस्टँड जायना पेशंट म्हाका खबर ना. सो हे ते पॉलिटिशियन त्या गुंडाक सांगपाची वेळ आयल्या. हांव तुमच्या प्रेसा कडेन मागतां, प्लीज पास ऑन दीस वर्ड की हें जर चालू उरलें, delivery of medical care will suffer. It's not doctors who are going to suffer much. हांवें मॅनेज केले पेशंट हांव म्हजे कडेन जायना म्हणटलो फुडें धाडटलो. चलचें ना. ऑलरेडी आमचें टेन्शन येवपाक लागलां. खंयच्या वटेच्यान तो कंज्युमर कोर्ट एक्ट बसता, कोणच्यान पुलीस केस जातात, नाका आसतना पुलीस पेशंट लोकांचे पेशंस काबार जाता. प्लीज खंय तरी हें सोंपपाक जाय म्हणून आज आमी सगळे एक जाल्यात. हात जोडून मागता प्रेसा कडेन आनी जनरल पब्लिका कडेन, प्लीज हें खंय तरी सोंपयात. थँक्यू.
हांगा आमचे डॉक्टर लेगून जमल्या ते कमी प्रमाणात जमल्या, कित्याक आमकां लोकांची केअर हॅम्पर करूंक नाका आसली. आमचे डॉक्टर एमर्जन्सी मेडिकल सर्विसीस आनी दुसरे पेशंट कोण आसा पळय तांकां अटेंड करपाक बसल्या म्हणून आमी थोड्या डॉक्टरांक हांगा आपयल्ले आसा. आतां आमचो गोवा मेडिकल ते आमकां तेंको दिता, ते 2 उतरां उलयतले.
I am Nilesh, the President of Goa Medical Representatives Association of Goa. Today we are here solidarity to the medical fraternity to support the protest here for the assault of doctor. Today we see a lot of assaults happening on doctors. I think we should need to understand that there could be many reasons for the death of a particular person. I think we also must understand that we should not assault doctors also. And these are the doctors who work for us, for the peoples, for day and night. And these are the doctors who are there for the emergency service throughout the day and night. So I request on behalf of our Medical Rep Association to do not assault these doctors. Thank you very much.
चला पुढे चला.
2 words by a very senior obstetric and gynecologist from Margao.
It's a very sad thing what is happening. I'm a very senior doctor. Now, when we were students, we hardly used to see such cases. And as the doctor takes the oath that he or she is going to save lives, and to be called as a murderer is just beyond imagination. And I really felt very, very sad all these days that a young doctor lost her life because of the unnecessary interference by the general public, by politicians, and also the police, and also the media, because they just hype the whole thing without understanding what exactly has happened. And as a doctor, we take a Hippocratic oath to save lives. We do not kill. And when we are operating, God only knows. And we know through what stress we go. And how much we are also praying to God to help us to overcome that stress and to save a life. And such unfortunate things, if they happen, the media and the public have no say at all in this. They cannot accuse the doctor, because every doctor is born, the doctor is born. Because I say why born? Because we decide when we are very young at the age of 18 to become doctors and to serve humanity. And to serve humanity, our duty is to save life. And unfortunately, things happen, but that does not mean that the doctor should be crucified. The doctor has to be respected, otherwise the way the things are going on in our country, there will be very few young people wanting to become doctors. They say, what is the sense of becoming a doctor? So first of all, a doctor doesn't earn that much. People think that we earn a lot, but it's not true. And the stress that we go through, and as these things if they are going to continue happening, there will be very few people or youngsters wanting to join the medical profession. Thank you so much for giving me the...
That happens of PPH, 1,000 deaths are stopped by the doctors. And if these doctors are not treated properly, can you imagine what will be the plight of the patients? We will be scared to treat them. All of my colleagues here who are here, Dr. Kama, everyone here, has saved so many lives on the table you cannot imagine. And PPH is something that happens on the spur of the moment. Patient bleeds 2 liters in 1 minute. And to stop that bleeding and save the life is something that doctors struggles. They have donated their own blood to save lives so many times. So please pass on the message that this is a common complication which will happen and doctors cannot be harassed at any given point of time. Thank you so much.
Yes, care for the doctor if you want to see that your health is well taken care of. That should be the bottom line, because if you don't treat the doctor properly, if you attack the doctor, if you try to create problems for the doctors will definitely hesitate, especially in serious cases. Doctors will get frightened to treat such patients. They will refer them to the government hospitals. By the time the patient reaches the government hospital, there will be so much loss of time, there will be more loss of life. So please pass on this message to the general public that we doctors always struggle. We give our best. We forsake our family, we forsake our own lives. Nights are not nights for us, they are days. And we do it in order to see that our patients get well. It is not a question of earning money like many other professions. It is a question of medical science to treat these patients and to get them to life. That is the greatest joy we get. So please pass on this message that we doctors will try our best, but the people should understand us and should not resort to such ugly, violent methods. Thank you.
My only request to the media, both print and electronic media, that whenever such a case happens anywhere in Goa or India, you must first confirm what has happened really, without giving an opportunity to the doctors, to the medical professionals to learn what are the sequence of events that have taken place which led to this complication. You should not hype this in the local media or this, because once sensitive news comes in the media, people they don't understand anything. They say that whatever has come is the truth, which is not the fact. So my only request to all the media is, please first learn or discuss with or study the case and then report. There is no harm in reporting, but it should not be sensitized. It should not be hyped. Facts are to be reported. This is the only request. Thank you.
Thank you all.